Hey guys, this is AV. Today we will learn the logic for handling dynamic hierarchy, so let's get started. Here we will be using HTML, JavaScript and jQuery, NoSQL or JSON data for implementing our logic, and we will be using example of categories and subcategories of each category. As you can see, we are using variable data as a JSON object with keys as ID, name, hash subcategory and parent ID. ID indicates the particular ID of each category with integer value. Name indicates the name of each category with string value. Hash subcategory indicates if the category has any subcategory or not with boolean value. And parent ID indicates the parent category of whose subcategory it is with integer value. So in this data, for default value of parent ID, it is 0. Or you can also assign it as a null, which indicates that particular category is the topmost node of the tree. Now we will run a loop for the length of the data, and inside that again same loop creating a matrix. We are assigning child key of data as an empty array before inner loop starts for each individual data. As in JavaScript, for using push function, we need to initialize it as an array. Now there are loops for two data, that is I and j. In this if logic, we are checking that the category with the same ID should not exist, and if the category ID of I matches with the category parent ID of j, then it should push that category into the child of I category. For simple understanding, the subcategories are inserted into the child key of each parent category, as you can see here in the console. Now here we can see it displays all categories, even it has subcategory in child key for it. And so we will be using other variable final data for filtering only the top node or top category of the tree. For that, we again run a loop for length of data, and if the parent ID would be 0, as we discussed before, it will be top category, so only push that category into the final data. Now the main logic comes into the play, in which we will declare variable child as an empty array, species as an empty string, and br for the next line. You will understand use of all variables step by step. So here we trigger the function looping by passing final data as parameter, which we created. Now in loop function, we will run loop for the length of data, which is final data. Inside it, we again used a variable space as a boolean value false. Now we use condition. If the data or category has no subcategory, means value is false, then again it will check if the parent ID of the category is 0. And if it is 0, directly append it to the body or output it, else spacing function is triggered, passing space and that particular data as parameter. This logic is for spacing. We will come to it later. And the append it to body or output it, and slice means trim the string, it is also for spacing, so we will come to it later. And if the data or category has subcategory, means value is true, then again it will check if the parent ID of that category is 0, and if it is 0, it will assign the child its own child categories, that is subcategories, to it and append it to body or output it, else spacing function is triggered as above, and then append it to body or output. And finally again it will trigger self function if it has subcategories, but this time it will pass the value as the child categories or all the subcategories of that data or category. In short, we are using recursive function, and this will not stop until it has no subcategory. Now coming to the logic of spacing, you would be having three doubts: the variable space, child and function spacing. So in spacing, we pass the data itself each time and space as false by default inside it, and in that function the loop of child length is running, which is containing child categories or subcategories, which checks if that particular category ID matches with the child category ID, then space becomes true, and after loop, if space is true, then it will assign a single space, that is n%nbsp, and if space is false, then it will append another space to previous spaces. In short, we are checking each time if the first child category or subcategory of top node category is there, then we only use single space, else we append the space. So this was the logic for handling dynamic hierarchy. Hope you liked it, and if you do, please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for instant notification, and also share this with all the developers. Thank you for your support. Take care. See ya.